Okay, so today we're starting a new chapter, and this is going to be the picture that we're really going to focus on in this chapter. So if you look at the picture, you notice these two lines here are parallel, meaning they never cross. And then we've got this extra line that crosses it, and that extra line that crosses it is called a transversal. So a transversal is a line that crosses two parallel lines. Line that crosses two parallel lines. So in this picture here, the line A is the transversal, and lines B and C are the parallel lines. And just as a little intro, sometimes what you're going to see with parallel lines is this little arrow here, kind of as part of the line. And when you see that arrow, that means that those lines are parallel to each other. Okay. So when we have this picture with two parallel lines and a transversal, we get 8 angles. And there's all different pairs of angles that have different names. So the first name is going to be interior angles. And I bet you remember that the word interior means inside. So if I look and say, well, which angles are kind of inside the two parallel lines? It would be angle 2, angle 7, angle 3, and angle 6. These lines are inside the two parallel lines called interior angles. We split up interior angles into two special partners, either alternate interior or same side interior. And there's a clue in the name, right? Alternate. So alternate interior angles are going to be like 2 and 6. And we call them alternate because they kind of alternate one side of the transversal, or the other side of the transversal. Alternate interior angles, and so are 7 and 3. So I'd say angles 2 and angle 6. And then angle 7, and then I usually just make that little symbol there for and angle 3. And I call these angles Z angles. That's my way I write a letter Z with my little thing in there. So I call them Z angles because it kind of makes a Z. Not a perfect Z, but it kind of makes a Z. So alternate interior angles are 2 and 6, 3 and 7. Still on interior is same side interior. So same side means they're on the same side of the transversal. So it's going to be angles 2 and 3 and angles 7 and 6. Angle 2 and angle 3, angle 7 and angle 6. By the way, those numbers are not going to always be true, right? We can name the numbers different ways, but those spots are really what's true. So like even if this had a different number here, these two angles would be same side interior as would these two angles. So that's interior angles are on the inside, and those are the two types, alternate interior, same side interior. Okay. Then we go exterior, and I think you will remember that exterior angles mean outside. So we've got 4 outside angles. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 7, and angle 8 in this picture are my outside angles. And just like before, we're going to have 2 separate pairs, alternate exterior or alternate outside and same side exterior. So the alternate exterior are going to be here, 1 and 8, 2 and 7. Angle 1 and angle 8, they're on opposite sides of the transversal and they're on the outside. 1 and 8, 2 and 7. Same side exterior are on the same side of the transversal on the outside of the parallel lines. So this is going to be angle 1 and angle 7, and then here angle 2 and angle 8. So we're starting to see some patterns. So if we just go back and review for a second, interior angles are on the inside, meaning between the parallel lines. You have angles 2, 7, 3, and 6. We either pair them up alternately or Z angles, like angle 2 and angle 6, angle 7 and angle 3, alternate interior, or we say same side on the same side of the transversal, 2 and 3, 7, 6. Exterior angles are on the outside, angles 1, 2, 7, and 8. Alternate exteriors kind of alternate 1 and 8, 2 and 7, and same side or on the same side 1 and 7, 2 and 8. And we know we're not memorizing the numbers of those angles, we're memorizing the spots that those angles are in. Here's the harder one, corresponding angles. Corresponding angles, I'm going to just show you the angles. There's no clue in the word corresponding. So if I look at the picture, I'm going to show you the first pair of corresponding angles is angle 7 and angle 3. They're on the same side of the transversal. One is inside and one is outside. So I don't know that I can describe it in words as much as I'm just going to list the pair. Angle 7 and angle 3 are corresponding. There's actually 3 more corresponding pairs. I'll put a little star here. Angles 8 and angle 4 are also corresponding. Angle 8 and angle 4. The 2 other pairs, maybe I'll do like a check mark here. Angle 5 and angle 2 are another pair of corresponding angles. Angle 5 and angle 2. And then you could probably guess that the last pair is angle 6 and angle 1. So corresponding is on the same side of the transversal, 1 in, 1 out. So 3 and 7, 4 and 8, 2 and 5, 6 and 1. And again, those numbers are arbitrary. It's about the spots of those angles. The last 2 pair of angles are, thankfully, something we already know, right? Remember, vertical angles are across from each other. They're always equal. We learned this in our last chapter, right? And they're always equal. So the vertical angles here are like angle 3 and angle 5 across from each other. And since they're equal, I'm just going to write angle 3 congruent to angle 5. And similarly, angle 4 congruent to angle 6. So those are equal. These guys are equal. Down here you have angle 2 and angle 8 are vertical angles, and they're congruent, angle 2 and angle 8, and angle 1 and angle 7. So the vertical angles are across from each other, they're always equal. We did them already, so we remember these from the last chapter. It's 3 and 5, 4 and 6, 2 and 8, 1 and 7. The last one we did in the last chapter as well, which is linear pairs of angles that make a line, right? And we know this. There's actually 8 pairs of angles in this picture that make a straight line. One is angle 5 and angle 4. They're not equal. They make a straight line. That's sunset, sunrise. Angles 6 and 3 make a straight line. Angles 7 and 2 make a straight line. And angles 8 and 1 make a straight line. And the order doesn't matter, by the way. So I could say 4, 5, 3, 6, 2, 7, 8, 1. Those are all linear pairs. They make a straight line, and we know they're going to add up to 180. You might be like, where are the other 4 pairs? You actually have to look at the picture a little differently, like these 2 angles, these 2 angles, these 2 angles, these 2 angles. Those also make straight lines. So I'm going to add in angles 5 and 6. And notice, by the way, that I'm putting the angle symbol every time. I'm not just saying number 4 and number 3, angle 4, angle 3, angle 7, angle 8, angle 2, angle 1. All those angles make straight lines, and therefore they add up to 180. Now we know that that's a lot of information, right? Interior, exterior, corresponding vertical linear pair. So here what we do is we're just looking at like one kind of angle. So like angle 1 and angle 2, looking back at the choices, hopefully you'll agree with me that these are corresponding angles. One is in and one is out, and it matches the picture with corresponding. Here, 1 and 2 are a Z angle, right? They make a Z. So these are alternate interior angles, and I just like abbreviate alt-int for alternate interior angles. So today we're just naming these angles. 1 and 2, these are same side interior. They're on the same side of the transversal. They're on the interior of the parallel lines. Same side interior, or sometimes we call those SSI. if you want. Same side interior. And then this one here, 1 and 2, I believe these are alternate exterior because they're on the alternate sides. It's not letting me write here. Alternate exterior. There we go. So just to review that last row, number 1 is corresponding angles. Number 2 is alternate interior angles. 3 is same side interior angles. And number 4 is alternate exterior angles. Okay. So these are all the kinds of angles we're going to study. The next page is going to give us some more examples. Okay. But I just want to make sure we got this page down. Types of angles.